This shiny little box is way more accurate than a traditional motion sensor because it's using radar. It responds at lightning speed as a consequence, and it will save me so much money on my electric bill because it detects presence instead of motion. I have it set to turn my room off if it's unoccupied for more than 5 minutes, but when I come back to the room... Okay, and now let's see if I walk in. How long it takes to notice me and turn the lights on. Oh, you little beauty. So I've featured similar items to this before, but none with quite such simplicity, and certainly none with such a low price tag. Like, really low. It doesn't just work with Amazon Alexa though. The company have plans to make it work with Google Home too, and it works with something called Modbus. I have no idea what Modbus is.
Modbus is perfectly simple. All you have to do is update the configuration.yaml file in the Home Assistant file editor, and then make a bespoke TCP connection to the remote terminal unit, and then add the relevant configuration parameters and variables, making sure to include the correct parity list of odd and even bits, you imbecile!
I'm not even kidding. Every word of that was actually taken from a Home Assistant forum entry. Do you know how Home Assistant fanboys get into girls' knickers? They bore the pants off them. Thankfully, the Amazon Alexa setup for this thing takes less than 5 minutes and no specialist knowledge whatsoever. And the company have sent me another very interesting looking little pill that has even more capabilities.
Do you want to know what it is?
I think it's a smart home hub, mate.
The Matrix is everywhere.
Why are you talking like that?
You have to see it for yourself.
Just lay off the theatrics. Got the ump now, innit? Thanks to LinknLink for sponsoring today's video and for sending me their new range of very affordable smart home products. I've got a very cool presence sensor, which is probably the cheapest and yet one of the most accurate on the market, an infrared blaster that can turn your TV on and off, change channels, and basically control any infrared-based device, but it can also control RF devices such as projector screens and air conditioners too. Basically, if you've seen the Broadlink RM4 Pro, this is exactly that, but in a much smaller housing, and it has a temperature and humidity sensor built into its cable too as an added bonus. Not only that though, Morpheus was right.
You have to see it for yourself.
This thing does not only monitor temperature and humidity and blast infrared and RF, it also does exactly the same thing as the motion sensor. This thing is a radar looking for motion and can trigger Alexa routines in exactly the same way. It's a little bit more expensive as a consequence because this is an everything in one hub. I don't think I've ever seen anything with that much stuff, and it's in this tiny little casing. Bonkers. And finally, a standalone temperature and humidity sensor that reports data back to the app and to Amazon Alexa and Google Home. They're calling their presence sensor eMotion. Emotional, damn it! I make a video like this every week, filled with terrible dad jokes, and more importantly, very cool tech. If you'd like to see more of that sort of thing, consider subscribing and dinging the bell and giving this a thumbs up. Tells YouTube it was good and more people should see it. On with the show. The question is, do we really need yet another smart home ecosystem? And the answer to that is, who cares? Just install the LinknLink app, get these things working, send them off to Amazon Alexa and Google Home, and if you want to, just stop using the LinknLink app altogether. That's it. If there's no motion for 2 minutes, turn the editing suite off. Check it out. Possibly my favorite thing about the LinknLink range is that none of it requires batteries. I think I've said it before, I'm not made of batteries. Please kill me. I'm not supposed to exist. And I like that their presence sensor, their infrared blaster, and their standalone temperature and humidity sensor can all be plugged into basically any USB port to give them life. The small size of these things, the reliability, and the simple fact that you don't require yet another smart home hub give them the wife approval factor. And we all know how important that is, because there's only one thing in this world that women want.
Bespoke configuration.yaml files!
I was gonna say effortless and seamless integration that works 100% of the time, but that too, I guess? The notification speed is really good if you're using the presence sensor as an alert system. I know it. I know there's a wanker in the office.
Well, of course I know him. He's me.
And schedules can be set so that it only notifies you between certain hours of the day or certain days of the week. The speed at which an Alexa routine fires is also very good, whether that be turning a room on, oh, you little beauty, or changing a TV channel with your voice. Give me BBC One. No way! It worked! And I think this is actually the easiest way that I've found so far to connect any device to Amazon Alexa. It really is just a case of opening the settings, clicking a third-party service, and enabling the Amazon Alexa option. As soon as you do this, any devices you have added to the LinknLink app will immediately be controllable using your voice. This is almost as easy as Jada Pinkett Smith, who is very easy. Hello and welcome to the news. Today's top story, a woman only famous for marrying Will Smith has cheated on him for a 5th time and is now boasting about it. Trollop. More at 11. The infrared blaster hub can learn almost any frequency as long as it's not Bluetooth. It can learn both infrared frequencies and RF frequencies too, and this goes for both 315 MHz RF and 433 MHz RF. This means that not only can it control things like my TV and my set-top box, it can also control things like my projector screen, which is RF, not infrared. Amazon, for some reason, can see both the temperature and the humidity when you open up the app and take a look, but for some reason, can't tell you those things if you ask for them, which is demented. In a similar vein, you also can't use the temperature or the humidity as a trigger for Alexa routines. Again, demented. I have no understanding as to why that would be. It's a shame because I had planned to use the humidity sensor to start my dehumidifier if it reached a certain threshold. This isn't currently a possibility, and again, I hope Amazon will resolve this. ASOS. Big dickhead. This is one of the reasons you might actually want to keep the LinknLink app, because what you could do is set up a routine in the LinknLink app that said if the humidity reaches a certain level, then send an infrared signal to turn my dehumidifier on, using its remote control infrared signal. The LinknLink ecosystem is actually really powerful for creating routines because it uses an if this then that style interface, but also lets you include conditions. You can't calibrate the radar on this in any way. It's not like the AQARA presence sensor where you can portion up the room and say, if I enter that part of the room, I want this to happen, and if I enter that part of the room, I want this to happen. And also, you can't say how much of the room to monitor. It's literally plug and play. And what I found was, if you have it this way up, it doesn't actually see me all of the time if it's over the other side of the room, and eventually it turns the lights off on me. If you've got it this way up, it works a lot better. It's like the radar is emanating further from this side of the thing. What I found was the best thing to do is to have it quite close to you, perhaps on a desk. You only got to plug it into a USB port, and that's it. Jobs are good. The longer period you give, the less likely it is that this thing is going to switch the lights off on you, because it's probably going to have seen you at some point. but worth bearing in mind, it works best at close range. This is a brand new company with brand new devices, and I am already seriously impressed. The motion sensor is the cheapest radar-based sensor on the market, and the accuracy on that thing is fantastic if you have it in the right position. The ability to blast infrared and RF devices from such a tiny little bridge is absolutely spot on, and the fact that they've also released a separate temperature and humidity sensor in case you wanted something cheaper is absolutely brilliant. It's a genius idea, and I can't wait to see more from this company. As usual, there are links in the description if you'd like to pick up any of these devices. In the meantime, these incredible people are the only reason I'm making this video. Without them, I would still be working in a call center, and if you want to be one of these incredible people, you can do that at either Patreon or buy me a one-off beer at PayPal, and either way, I'll genuinely love you forever. These are my Facebooks and my X's and my Instagrams and my TikToks too. Come and hang out there and we can be best friends. See you next time. More at 11. Filthy filth. Ugh.